Hello everybody, this is John Doe doing number. Today I'll be doing another profile. Today I'll be showing you guys my Secret Village deck, which is a Spellcaster deck. My friend Library of something, I don't know, she, aka Pegatinum, aka Madolce Kitty, whatever, asked me to do a Spellcaster deck, and here it is. I used to, like, when I first started off with Yu-Gi-Oh, Spellcasters were my main thing, but then I learned Spellcasters kind of suck, basically, except the Gravekeepers. That's really the only Spellcaster deck that doesn't completely suck, in my opinion. But this deck is actually quite interesting. I just made it like yesterday or whatever, but I think it looks pretty good. So let's get right to it. We have 17 monsters, 14 spells, and 10 traps. We first off have Black Soldier on for the beginning because I played the Chaos build like usual. We have 1 Chaos Sorcerer, 3 Defenders, 3 Breakers, 1 Gravekeeper, Descendant, and 3 Spies. And yes, of course, I use the Gravekeepers area because they're Spellcasters and they help me out. 2 Monks, since I have a lot of spell cards and it actually works really well. 1 Max C and 2 Effect Veilers. Now for the spells, we have 1 Dark Hole, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Mind Control, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, which I wanted to play 3, but I guess I don't really need 3. 1 Avarice, 2 Pot of Dualities, 3 Secret Villages, and 2 Terraformings, which I wanted to play 3, of course, but I decided not to because I don't really completely need to have a Secret Village in my hand at all times. Now for traps, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Holes, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Royal Decrees, and yes, I do have a lot of trap cards. I decided to put 2 Royal Decrees because I don't technically need to use my trap cards. I just rather do a somewhat of a lock because if I have Secret Village on the field, Royal Decree on the field, and Defender on the field, then my opponent can't activate trap cards, can't activate spell cards, and it's going to be hard to get over my Defender because you had to destroy it twice or whatever. Then we have a Judgment, 2 Warnings, and 2 Torrentials. Now for the extra deck, we have 1 Pearl, 2 Utopias, 1 Utopia Ray, 1 Photon Butterfly thing. Just call it Butterfly Fling. Just call it that. That's much easier. 1 Corn, 1 Roach, 2 Djinns, and 1 Alchemic Magicians. I decided to put this card inside the deck because, it's a Spellcaster deck, and I just decided, if that slight chance I can summon this card, I might as well. Plus, the attack actually gets really high for every single spell card in your graveyard. And I've never actually seen this card ever used, but it's also, what else? Once per turn, you can during your end phase, you can detach during your end phase. You can detach 1 XYZ material from this card. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, choose 1 spell card from your deck, then set it in your spell check card zone. So at least then I can actually activate. I can set a spell card I can use next turn. I can actually technically I can use set a Mystical Space Typhoon. That'd be an interesting combo actually. Now for the Synchros, we have 1 Worm, 1 Stardust, 1 Rose, 1 Gaia, and 1 Ellie. So basically, this deck really revolves around Secret Village. If you don't know what this card does, if you control a Spellcaster type monster and your opponent does not, your opponent cannot activate spell cards. If you control no Spellcaster monsters, you cannot activate spell cards. So reading this card, you have to have a Spellcaster type monster on the field, so your opponent can't activate any spell cards. But if you don't have one, control it, and your opponent does not, your opponent cannot activate any spell cards if you control no spellcaster. So if your opponent, if you don't have a spellcaster type monster on the field, your opponent can activate spellcaster spell cards, and you can't, according to what this card says. It's kind of confusing at first if you don't look at it twice. Yesterday I actually had an incident in which I activated Heavy Storm. My opponent said, my friend said I couldn't do that because of a Secret Village, but it doesn't really matter. Technically, I could have because she didn't have a Spellcaster monster on the field. But anyway, you could actually put I could actually just probably get rid of Pearl and put in Shockmaster. But anyway, overall, this deck is pretty interesting. Actually, it's not like one of those top tier decks, but it's a fun deck if you want to just do something different you don't see very often. It looks pretty good actually. So anyway. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, or complaints, please comment below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll see you guys next time. Merp!